Hello, my fellow humans. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. And for those of you that are new here, thanks for joining us. We're all here sharing this human experience together. I do things differently here on this channel, so there may be triggering statements that arise on the readings themselves. There's no obligation to force it to fit, while keeping in mind that triggers can be a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journeys. If the messages happen to resonate with you, it'd mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And with that being said, please know that your time, your energy, and your presence are a true gift and a blessing, and I'm so honored to be here sharing it with you today. So we are going to be looking into what does your boss secretly think of you but won't say. It's been a while since I've done one of these readings, so I'm trying to go back and do some of the more popular readings that you guys always request. And then I'm going to be sprinkling some new ones in along the way as well. So hang with me. I am getting back into the swing of things. Just a quick update. The reason why I missed posting the other day and got back off of cycle is because I actually injured my back for some reason. It was kind of a fluke. It just happened. If you guys know my story, I broke my back in 2015, and honestly, I deal with injuries in my back all the time, and it's nothing like super terrible. I mean, it's debilitating when it happens, but it's not like, oh my gosh, like you should go see a doctor. This is just something that I'm aware of, and it's something that I deal with, and that's why. So when it comes up, and I'm kind of bedridden for a little while, and I do my best to do yin yoga at those times so that I can stretch it out. But there are times when I go a few days where I'm just kind of unable to move around or anything because of it, even when I take painkillers and stuff like that. So I just do my best to stay present with it, and that's why I wasn't able to post the video on Friday of last week. And I just try to be as transparent as I can with you guys. Like I said, if you've been on the channel for any amount of time, you know this story. I've definitely shared it before. It's just that reminder, and I feel like it's kind of been a lot for me this year. You know, ever since everything's moved out of Pisces, I just feel like I've been getting hit left and right, even though I have tons of Pisces placements. But I feel like also those of us that have a lot of Pisces in our chart, like we're finally in a state of rest and recovery. And when your body's been in a state of just constant stress for so long, the minute that you get that moment where you can it's like that's when you get sick, and that's when all those aches and pains hit you, and that's when all those moments of overwhelm finally reach a boiling point, and our bodies are the first thing to go. And it's, you know, again, it's just about being present with those things. So it's not complaining because I'm a Pisces. That's not what this is. It's just something that I'm dealing with. You know, I just got over having a terrible ear infection. I had something go on with my throat. And I mentioned that, you know, sometimes we can have things that happen to us that makes it feel like, what am I doing wrong? And, you know, like, obviously this is punishment for straying from the path. This is punishment for me not doing what I was supposed to be doing. And it's so easy for us to take on that mindset. And it's not. This is just life. You know, life happens. We get sick, we get injured, we have a lot of things happen to us mentally, emotionally, physically. You know, it's just a part of this really dense 3D world. And the thing is that I myself have been working through that mindset as well, and it's been tough, right? It's been tough because for so long, it's been easy for me to blame it. Oh, like this happened because of this, or this happened because of that. And I am seeing cycles that are closing in my lifetime. And if we really had to look at it from being a cycle standpoint, this is just another one of those turns on the Fibonacci sequence of the unfurling of my life, that we've reached a point where part of the unfurling is coming back to the back pain. And I feel like mostly what Source is saying to me is, how are you going to face it this time? Are you going to blame yourself for something you think you did wrong? Or are you going to accept that this is just a part of life and you can move through it and you're capable of being present with it as it shows up. And that's the mindset that I'm taking going into this. And so that's me being transparent with you guys. That's the updates for this week. You know, and I share these with you so that you know, like, even people who are online, like even people who may have a leadership position in life, you know, it's not because life is easy. Most of the time, people who work their way up to these stations in life, they also have tons of things that they have to suffer through or that they have to face. You know, challenges is a part of this world, and it's not that we can't grow through those challenges. It's just looking at it as a means of, how can I continue to be accountable for how I'm showing up in each and every moment? And that's all we can do. It doesn't mean life is going to get easy, because it doesn't. It doesn't get easy. There's things that happen all the time, things that are within our control and things that are completely outside of our control. What happened with my back was completely outside of my control. In fact, it's odd because that morning I did this amazing yoga practice. It wasn't a power yoga practice, but it was definitely a vinyasa, one I had done many, many times before. And I felt so good. And I got up and I rolled up my mat and I went about my day. I actually did breathing and then I went about my day. And then I was sitting down doing something on the couch. I was actually writing out something for the week. And all of a sudden, I just got this pain that was radiating down my back and into my leg. And it went all the way from my lower back into my thigh, down the inside of my thigh. And I know it's my sciatica. Like, I know that's what it is, because it's just, I know the pain now. And it just continued to get worse. And I was like, what the heck? Like, I had this great practice and then here I am now. And so I think that doing the practice actually saved me from dealing with an even deeper pain. But yeah, it's just been, the last 3 days have been very difficult for me, and that's okay. Like, it's okay. We can still smile, we can still laugh. The whole absurdity of life is just a big silly moment, and we can either choose to be completely creamed by it, or we can just stand up and say, hey, it's cool, we're all taking beats, we're all taking knocks, and we're all in this together. And that's truly what this is, right? So all right, let's get to the prayer. I didn't mean to have an intro so long, but I do feel like I just need to be honest with you guys. Like I said, I try to keep a transparent presence on this channel. Like, I don't want you guys to think that like I'm some perfect being out here who's been gifted every opportunity to be successful or every opportunity to be where I'm at. Like, no. Struggles are what bring us to this state, and struggles are very much what changed me in my own life. And the more we can embrace our struggles and challenges, the easier it is for us to move through them. Just like the grief and the sorrow and the pain that we feel from broken hearts. It's the same thing, just a different version of that pain. My beloved source, this prayer is for any and all who come onto this reading, whether it's for a moment time or for the entire time. Today I ask that you help give us peace of mind through the challenges that we may be facing. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's debilitating. Sometimes it is so nerve-wracking that we cannot stand up and continue forward. Like, how are we going to find the strength? How are we ever going to make it out? How are we ever going to overcome this and get to a place where truly good things are happening in our lives? And we know that this is a mindset. We know that good things is a mindset. We know that happiness is a mindset. These are all things that we cultivate internally. But when the world knocks us down, or when life knocks us down, or when even our bodies knock us down and knock us back, and we're faced with a series of challenge or unfortunate events that either bring fear, upset, unease, what do? It's a challenge. And there really is no right answer. But what we can do is rely on you, because we know that you're never going to forsake us. We know that you're never going to leave us behind. And we know that it's not about you magically snapping your fingers and making it okay for us. That's not what this world is. This world is much denser than that. It's not to say that that's not a possibility along our journeys. But it's reminding us that when we can be present with whatever it is that's unfolding, we can respond instead of react. And when we respond, we make choices that are more aligned with our own highest good. And when we can make these choices that are aligned with our highest good, we begin to open up doors of opportunity for ourselves. And because of that presence, we'll know which doors are meant for us and which doors are okay to let go. So today I ask that you help us come into that state of peace, come into that state of calm mind and calm heart, so that we can lean on you, because we need you. We need your strength. We need your mercy. We need your grace more than we might ever even know, and more than sometimes we're willing to ask for, because we are prideful creatures. And so today I ask that you help us set aside our pride, set aside our emotional ego, and trust that you're helping us through the challenges, through the hardships, and through whatever it feels like might be malaligned within our lives, and helping us find the path of our highest good. And today I invite angels of highest light and love, ancestors of highest light and love, guides of highest light and love, runner and helper guides, healing guides of all highest light and love, and source of highest light and love. I invite you all to interfere in my life as you see fit to help re-guide me back to my path of highest purpose. And I ask that you interfere in those who are willing to receive your help today in their lives to help guide them back towards their path of purpose and highest alignment. As these words are spoken upon this reading and onto this tribe today, so shall they be. Amen. Aho. Ase. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, my beloved source. Thank you. So let me get this set up. All right. So we are going to use the Wild Unknown Animal Oracle today by Kim Krans. Wow, I can talk. I promise you guys. So let's go ahead and get this going and find out more about your reading today. So what does your boss secretly think of you? What does your boss secretly think of you? What does your boss secretly think of you? What oracle cards are going to help us better understand this message today? What does your boss secretly think of you? So thank you. A lot of Scorpio energy coming in today. I just want to point that out real quickly. Tons of Scorpio. Not only did you get Scorpio in the dice, but Scorpio energy is coming out with the cards too. Pile 1. What does your boss secretly think of you? What oracle card is going to help us better understand this message today, source? What does your boss secretly think of you? Thank you. Pile number 2. What does your boss secretly think of you? Thank you. That came out really fast. All right, pile number 3. What does your boss secretly think of you? What oracle card will help us better understand this message today for pile 3? Yeah, it's that one. Okay. Bottom of the deck, collective energy. Ooh, we've got the stingray. You know, with this energy, really quickly, I was saying while we were shuffling, we're just here for the collective message. That's fine. But while I was shuffling, I was saying Scorpio energy was coming out really, really heavy while I was shuffling. And then you also got Scorpio with the dice, just as an option to pick from, because I always shuffle or roll the dice before the readings. And whatever comes out is what comes out, how the dice are displayed, but this is how they came out today. And so the Scorpio energy is present. I feel like there's a lot of self-empowerment that's coming through, and your boss secretly thinks that lately something has shifted within you where you are not to be messed with, right? Like, not that you ever were, but that there's something about you recently where you are hands down fighting for yourself, fighting for your right to be seen, fighting for your right to be heard. You have self-empowered your choices and your options and opportunities that are available to you. You're just going about that through this very changed and transformed place. And with Stingray here, I'm getting this energy of like gracefully accepting this change within your life while also having a bite to your presence. It's like, so if somebody tries to bait you into something, you very gracefully defend yourself. You very gracefully set boundaries. But if they don't stop and they keep trying to egg you on or instigate something, you come with this bite that is undeniable. It's like, my grandma always called it playing politics in the office. This is what and she was so good at this, but she would let people basically show her where the conversation was going. And then if she needed to, she would bring back some truth or some situation where they couldn't have a comeback to it. And that's the type of energy that you're coming from. You know, it's like, well, I understand you feel that way, but considering, say, a last meeting that happened, you know, and you didn't give any ideas, and yet now you want to take credit for the ideas that I'm giving. Honestly, people are going to understand and know that you're the person that's trying to steal my ideas, even though you're trying to make it seem like I'm stealing yours. And like saying something like that, it's just an example, right? It shuts them up. They don't know what to say. And so your boss could be this person who's trying to take credit for your work. Your boss could be this person who's also just very grateful that you're able to handle the other employees the way that you are. It's not like they're trying to give you that responsibility. They're just grateful that you're able to stand up for yourself in maybe a very high demand position or a very stressful position or in a very saturated position where it's like, look, you know, I get that you want to do this, but it's just not going to work that way. And you're claiming your position as a leader here. You're claiming your position as someone who's being recognized. You're claiming your position in a place of power, but it's personal power. And so your boss is secretly thinking all these things and also like very aligned with your path of purpose here, very aligned with yourself. And I feel like your boss also secretly thinks that like, I can't really mess with you because then I'm going to be the one that's put either on blast or put with the spotlight on them, which is something they don't want. And, or they're saying that like, you know, this is somebody who I want to work side by side, but so it's like that, like thinking about stingrays, right? Like, wasn't it Steve Irwin who passed away from getting stung by a stingray, even though he put hands on some of the most dangerous snakes? He'd been bit by thousands of snakes. He'd been bit by thousands of toxic animals. And then, you know, like it was a stingray that got him. And I mean, the situation was just awful. But thinking about that, right? Like, that's the thing. It's like, you're somebody who fights fire with fire. Like, you're dangerous, but you're dangerous because you've done the research, or you're dangerous because you have the information, or you're dangerous because you have the experience and the knowledge backing you, right? So that's like time on the job, the schooling for the job, the degree for the job, the hands-on experience for the job. And that's what makes you like a formidable opponent, I guess. And in some cases, there's a boss here where they're grateful to have you because you challenged them to be better, where maybe at some point they felt like they were being complacent. There are other bosses here who are upset that you challenged them because they enjoyed being complacent, but with you around, it's again putting that spotlight on them. And so there's a lot of energies that are coming in, some that are very positive and some that aren't so positive. So that'll definitely get broken up on the readings themselves, and we'll see that individually. But there's also someone here where it's like a lot of drama tends to find you, and it's not you. It's not you, but I do feel like your boss secretly thinks like there's always a lot of drama around you. Like, people are trying to start fights with you. Like, people are trying to instigate something with you. Like, people are trying to create a lot of turmoil around you. And then they see how you respond to it, and you respond in such a, like, again, I keep coming back to that term political, like it's a very political way, right? Like there's no need to share all the details. There's no need to even really defend yourself or to explain yourself. There's just a need to say this line or to set this boundary and then leave. Like that's it. You just, it's like you drop in, you do what you need to do, and you leave. And so you're getting recognized for being someone who has potential to move up in the company, or to move up with a company that has the ability to give you that option if you're in a job that doesn't have opportunities in higher positions, right? So they're looking at you like, man, this is somebody who, if we lose them, like we're going to lose somebody that's really valuable, but also understanding that you deserve to have that opportunity around you. So let's see what Stingray says from the book. Stingray, yeah, look at this. Developing confidence, sense of self, or spine. Yeah, like, so you've got like a very strong backbone here. And I feel like not a lot really bothers you, but when something does irritate you, like you very quickly handle it. It says the Stingray card represents a pivotal point in personal growth. Didn't I say this is something that's just recently happened to you? Wow. The moment has come when the Stingray must decide between the old, which is easy, comfortable, and familiar. And I was saying some bosses here are glad that you're challenging them, but others want to stay complacent. And the new, challenging, uncomfortable, and unfamiliar. Pressure from family and friends makes the decision even more complicated. No matter what choice is made now, it's inevitable that this dilemma will surface again and again, as the force of Dharma growing within the Stingray is too strong to ignore. When in balance, you're eager and you want to grow. When out of balance, you blame others or quit. And to bring into balance is to move through the discomfort. And that's what your boss secretly thinks right now. Like, you've definitely grown a lot in recent times. Like, there's no denying that. You've changed a lot. And for some, right, for some, it's for the better with your boss. And for others, you know, again, it's just dependent on the type of position you have and the type of boss you have. For others, they're really irritated by it because they like staying complacent. They like being lazy. They like not having the spotlight on them, or they like having the spotlight on them for credit where they don't deserve having that credit. Okay. All right. So for pile 1, we do have this dice with the 5th house on it for you to choose from. Or we have this moonstone. Pile 2, we have this dice with Scorpio on it. And this is just something to choose from. This is not just for Scorpios. Like, if you choose it because you're not, that's fine. But it can also be for Scorpios, so whichever. Or we have this rose quartz for you to pick from. Pile 3, we have this dice with Uranus on it for you to choose from. Or we have this yellow jasper gemstone for you to choose from. So we have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3, and whichever pile you feel drawn to, that should be the one for you, and I will see you over there. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with the 5th house on it, or maybe you felt called to this moonstone, or perhaps you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be a reading on what does your boss secretly think about you. We're all here sharing this human experience together. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining us. I do things differently here on this channel, so there might be triggering statements that do arise on the readings themselves. There's no obligation to force it to fit, while keeping in mind that triggers can be a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journeys. Should the messages happen to resonate with you, it'd mean the world to me if you're to like, comment, and subscribe below. And with that, please know that your time, your energy, and your presence is a true gift and a blessing, and I'm deeply honored to be here sharing it with you today. So with that being said, let's hop to it and find out, what does your boss secretly think of you, pile 1? What does your boss secretly think of you, pile 1? Source, what would you like to share with us today? So we've got the 8th house, we've got Aries energy, and we've got Jupiter. Now, you might resonate with the collective message that I did at the beginning. I had mentioned there was a ton of Scorpio energy that came with it, and it was just talking more about like tapping into our personal power. And that's something that's become very noticeable with your boss. And you can check that out if you feel called to it. You'll find the timestamp below in the description box. What does your boss secretly think about you? Again, there's been a lot of transformation around you lately. And you are becoming more assertive on your journey. You're taking action. And it seems like things are starting to really work out for you. Like there's a lot of luck that's surrounding you, a lot of abundance. Also, you're gaining knowledge and experience. Not quite like how you were before. It's like all of that has compounded, and now you're able to take in a lot more when it comes to policies, procedures, or just generic jargon and information that you need for your company, for your position. You're just really aware of how to take care of certain challenges or situations that might arise in the day-to-day. And through that, they have noticed that you become more confident and more outgoing in a sense. Like you don't have to be extroverted by any means, but when you become confident in your job, like it shows, right? You wear it on your energy, you wear it on your sleeve, like it shows, and it comes across as super outgoing and confident, even if it's not like what you're trying to do. Like if you notice that there's a problem that arises and it's something that you know how to take care of, but there's other employees or other people who might be struggling with it, you immediately are stepping forward and saying, hey, I can help you with that, or I can take care of it for you. And so you're definitely being a lot more assertive than you were before. I do feel like this stands out in a good way for many of you. This is something that your boss is really grateful for, because you have a lot of background experience in whatever it is that you do. And it's starting to show. Like maybe you recently got this job, or you're still kind of new to this job, or maybe it's, you know, maybe you've had it for a while, but you're just, there's so much to learn, and now you're starting to really understand everything that you need to know to do your job well. And it's like, I do feel like there's a sense of excitement here from your boss, where they're just really glad that they're watching you blossom in your position. They're watching you grow, and they're watching you feel more at ease each and every day with what it is that you're doing. And I do feel like there is promise for promotion or for a raise coming soon. And that's something that they're considering as well. For many of you, not for everybody. That's not going to resonate for everybody. But there's some people here that are definitely on the viewing block for a promotion or for a raise. This is something that your boss has definitely thought about and has considered because you've been working so hard. You are definitely getting recognition though. I do feel like you just feel more overall at ease with what it is that you're being requested to do each and every day when you go in. So let's find out some more with the tarot. Does your boss secretly think of you? Pile 1. What does your boss secretly think of you? Yeah, you're emotionally more at ease, and that is giving you a sense of hope. And you are also, I just feel like you're taking the lead in things that before maybe you shied away from, or something that like you had asked for help on at some point. Now you're the leading helper when it comes to that. Excuse me. Pardon me. What does your boss secretly think about you? What does your boss secretly think about you? Oh. What does your boss secretly think about you? Pile 1. Okay, I feel like I'm gonna get one more. What does your boss secretly think about you? Pile 1. Yeah, okay. Yeah. You guys might hear my AC turn on and off. It's been pretty warm today. That's that noise in the background though. And don't worry, I know it feels like these are really negative cards, but I don't worry about them so much. I do feel like, yeah, there's a lot of hope here for you. I do feel like at some point you were really nervous about your position. And there are things that at some point you were so nervous about that they were worried about you not ever being able to find a solid footing in your job, or there's something that was happening at home that was making you maybe make certain mistakes, or something on your mind that was making you make mistakes at your work. And they're like simple mistakes, right? Like just things like human, right? We all do. It's like, oh, we missed $1 when we were counting the register, or we, forgot to close this drawer over here. We tripped over this and our papers got unorganized, whatever it is, right? Like there's something where it was like making simple mistakes, and that would get into your head. And then when that would get into your head, you would start to really worry and get uneasy about your job. And it's something they were picking up on right away. And there was also this fear that was surrounding you, where you were afraid maybe you were going to lose your job, or maybe that they were judging you because of these mistakes. Like they were making it, I feel like your boss wasn't trying to make it seem like you were a problem, but it's interesting because it's like, I feel like what they're seeing here with all these cards, like even the 10 of Swords, is that what they're secretly thinking is like, what's going on in your mind? Like they're very aware that energetically you've had to carry a lot. Like you've had a lot on your plate. You've had to overcome a lot. You've had to face a lot, not just in the workplace, but maybe you were coming to this job and you got fired from the job before that. And that's something that has weighed on your heart, like, oh my gosh, they let me go. And it doesn't have to necessarily have been your fault. Like you could have been laid off because they were downsizing and you just happened to be one of the ones that got laid off, or you could have been fired for something that wasn't your fault, right? Like you could have been a scapegoat for somebody or something along those lines. And there's this feeling that, or maybe you had to leave because they were forcing you out the door instead of firing you. Some companies will do that, right? Like where they're forcing you out the door, but there's like this fear that's coming here where your boss is secretly thinking like you've been really impacted by something from the past. And, where somebody had a problem with your ability to lead. Someone had a problem with your ability to take charge of things. And through that, you were nervous coming into this job where it was really hard for you to stand up in a leadership position. It was really hard for you to do what you needed to do with confidence. There was always this feeling of like, I'm just going to fail, or, you know, like I'm disappointed because I helped so many people, but then I got treated this way. And you may have explained the situation to them, and so they had that awareness as well. Also, some of you could be in this position now, right? And so they're thinking like, oh, you're gaining a lot of experience while you're here, and suddenly you're confident about what it is that you're doing, right? Like, so he's saying like you're being very assertive, but you're not even getting recognized for it. And I feel like some of you might be leaving this position soon. That's gonna resonate with just a few though. Like I feel like mostly like whoever's boss this is, like they do pay attention to their employees. Like they're aware of where their employees are at. But I feel like the thing here is that it feels like you had fallen from a leadership position, or maybe in a past position you had to train someone to take over your position, and that just really hit you hard in confidence and in your ability to do what you needed to do without worry, right? There's a lot of like, oh, if I make a simple mistake, are they going to try and shove me out the door now? There's a big, huge emotional blow from the past, right? A very negative past situation that's been weighing on you, and that's something that they're aware of. And that's something that when they look at, it's like they see how hard it's been for you to overcome that. And they are really excited to see you finding, it's like, oh, pile one's got their groove back. That's cute, but that's what's coming through. Like, all right, pile one's finally getting their groove back. Like, they recognized your potential when they hired you. But it's always kind of been like walking this fine line with you. Like, they didn't know if you were ever going to find your confidence again. They did never know if you were going to actually bring the experience that they know that you had to the table, because you were always just worried about making simple mistakes, or always worried about this mistake being the reason that they said, no, we're done with you. We don't want anything to do with you again. And I feel like the other thing is too, is that you had a problem in the past, and this could be, again, this could be at the same job. Maybe you switched departments, or maybe you had a change in management or something like that. But I do feel like in the past you've had a problem with authority figures. And it's not that you have a problem with authority itself. It's just that you've had trouble with authority figures, like where they have recognized your ability to be a leader, and they have tried to squash that, or they've tried to demean you, or they've tried to put you with your back against the wall. Again, like that shoving you out the door type energy here. And it feels like, you know, they were worried that you weren't going to bloom, because you felt like this position was a lost cause. Like, oh, they're going to eventually see my unworthiness and they're going to let me go. And so you were going through a lot of conflict, and you didn't know if it was worth your time. And they've tried to be supportive for you, and they've tried to help you as best as they could. But you know, at work, and I had this in a past reading too come up a while ago, but the same energy is coming up again. It's like, you know, at our jobs, our bosses can only help so much, right? Like they can only get involved so much. And it's kind of like, where do we draw the line, and where are we stepping outside of the line, and what's too far? You know, it's like, so they can only give you support in the way that falls within company policies, and they really do want to support you. They want to see you flourish, and they're seeing you find courage again. But there's just this past issue here where it's like you were so committed to something, and you gave everything you had for it, and you were the one that was treated like dirt. And you know, they might realize that the company that you were with has had a lot of problems, or they have other employees from the company that you were with, or if this is like a change in department, they know that the department that you came from has had a lot of problems, or the manager that you were under before it had a lot of problems. Like, it just feels like there was something here that wasn't being taken care of, and it fell onto your shoulders to take the fall for it, and it wasn't yours to carry. And they're glad now that they're watching you blossom and be stronger in your abilities, because you have so much to offer, and they feel like, you know, that you're going to step up into management one day. Source, can you tell us what hopes does pile one's boss have for them? Whoa, that was like flying out. We'll do 3. What hopes does pile one's boss have for them? What hopes does pile one's boss have for them? Yeah. To see that there are always options for you, and that when you set those emotional boundaries, they won't affect you mentally either. And I feel like that's something that might have been a struggle in the past. Like, you could have had a boss from the past that was too emotionally invested in what was going on in your personal life, or sharing too much of their own personal life. And again, not knowing where to draw the line here on the bottom of the deck. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, knowing what works better for you. And their hopes are is that you'll learn to trust your intuition, and to trust that you have a ton of experience to offer, and that you have a ton of value to bring to this position that you're working in, and that you have an opportunity to I just keep getting like a promotion here. Okay, the Hangman. Yeah, and the Hermit. Yeah, to learn that when you set these emotional boundaries, that you're able to come at this from a much higher vibration than you were before. I just feel like whatever happened in the past, it definitely put you back in your shell, right? And so they want to see you come out of your shell. Like, that's the thing. They want to see you blossom here. They want to see you give your all. They want to see you step up into your power. And recognize that past situation is a past situation. Like, that's not who you are now. It was unfair what happened to you in the past. Like, they keep referring to the past. So this could be someone who's a friend, or that you consider a friend, or this is just someone you had to explain a past circumstance to, and so they're aware of what happened to you, and they saw the flaws in it. Not that your story was flawed. They saw the flaws between you and management. They saw the flaws between you and the company. But they want you to set these emotional boundaries for yourself to protect yourself. Because, you know, work is still work at the end of the day. We're there so much of the time, we kind of lose sight of seeing it as just something we're going to get this tool in life, which is money, right? To get this tool. Oftentimes, we spend so much time there that work becomes our life. And that was never the design, right? But it's hard sometimes. And all of us have experienced this, where our work has become our life. And there's no differentiating what's going on at work versus what's going on at home. And so those lines become very blurred. And it can create a lot of problems for us in future events when we get people involved who don't need to be involved. And vice versa, if we get involved with people we don't need to be involved with. And so they want you to know that they believe that you bring a lot of strong perspective and value to the team, and their hope for you is that you'll trust your intuition and stand strong in who you are, and not let what's happened in the past break you or make you small, because you have so much to offer. You have a lot of wisdom, and I feel like that's the thing. It's like they want to see you offer that wisdom to the team, and they want to see you grow. Yeah. Look, I can't make this up. The second house, we have physical security, possessions, material values, and self-worth. They want you to value the skills that you have. They want you to value what you can offer as a team player, or as an employee, or as a manager, or as, you know, whatever position you have, CEO, president, vice president, whatever it is. They want you to recognize that you have a lot to offer, but there's also this feeling of self-consciousness that's coming through that they've been very aware of. And so their hopes is that you'll learn to self-empower yourself. And I feel like that's the thing, is that with the 8th house, and also if you resonated with the collective message at the beginning, that's what has been happening lately. And so they're definitely seeing that change. Yeah, invocation. So again, something about following your intuition here. You're very intuitive. You know what to do when it seems like there's no solution, right? So if you're, example, if you're an architect and there's like some structural mishap that's going on where it's like, okay, we can't create this building because this is not structurally sound, and everybody's struggling to come up with some sort of solution, and you take a look at the blueprints and you're like, oh, we need to do this, this, and this. And part of that's because of your experience, but also part of that's because you're very intuitive and it just makes sense to you. Like, you see the world that way, and you're able to offer that solution where no one else had a solution. It doesn't have to be architecture, but that's the type of energy that we have here. And it's like they want you to trust that. They want you to believe in that part of yourself because it's very strong, and it has the opportunity to bring you to a higher position within the company that you work for. So again, with ceremony invocation here, it's about trusting your intuition. They know that you're very intuitive. They secretly think that you're very intuitive, that you're very capable of great things. But they also see how you struggle with seeing that with yourself. And that's okay, right? Like, when we go through hardships in our lives or with our work or whatever, you know, it can definitely take a toll on our confidence. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, because we identify with what we do, right? It's not what it is. The truth of our life is something we do is just something that we do. But when it comes to the work where we make our living, we usually get into that mindset. It's like, oh, well, I am an architect, or I am a builder, or I am an office worker, or whatever. Like, we identify with it so deeply that if we feel like something is going awry, we internalize that and feel like we're a failure. And that's exactly the type of energy that they're seeing right now, where it's like you had that failure feeling about you and you're learning how to overcome that. They want to see you overcome that because they feel like you have something unique to offer. Yeah, martyr. Right? Didn't I say that? Like, you were like a scapegoat for them, for the last company, or for your boss or something. Like, you were taking on something that you didn't need to. And maybe there was a feeling of obligation to take that on as well. Like, well, if no one else is going to, I guess I ought to step forward for it. Right? So we have the light energy, learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or to a cause. And the addiction to self-pity is the shadow. Yeah. So it's like, just, you know, well, I guess I ought to do it because no one else is going to. That is self-pity, right? Not seeing like, oh, well, that's not my problem. Sometimes saying that's not my problem is such a challenge, for especially if you have people-pleasing tendencies. It's like, well, somebody needs to find a solution, and if no one else is finding a solution, then I guess I'll just take on the responsibility of finding the solution. But oftentimes that's a really unfair situation, and that's what it feels like here. Yeah, next level, an opportunity will open that seems like fantasy. Trust your vision, dare to dream. Yeah, you're the one. You walked through some sort of portal here, and you did it by yourself. You changed by yourself. And your boss is secretly thinking, like, because of this change, you have the opportunity to step up in your life and to step up in your position, and they want to see that. This could be somebody who wants to work with you on the same level. This is somebody who wants to promote you because you're going to help their team, and together they feel like you're going to work really good together. So we have journey flipping over here. You may move to a new place, work, or travel for work. Exploring the world gives you the experience you need to succeed. So that's what I was talking about earlier, right? Like, the experience. There's something about your experience and what you have to offer. And that's something that your boss is constantly thinking about. Like, your experience is very vast and you're so knowledgeable, and they want to see you at your peak, right? Spiritual work. Doing some inner work can help you get clear before you move on. You will get insights what will work best, or what work will best serve your needs. So you could be in the spiritual industry, like doing coaching or anything like that. Maybe you're a tarot card reader. Maybe you are an oracle reader or a tea leaf reader or a reader of any kind. You could also be working in some sort of, like, I'm getting like a fitness coach here, someone that coaches other people, or someone that's also therapy work is coming in. And this is something that they're reminding you of. It's like when you recognize your internal power, you know what best serves what you need at work, the solutions that need to be found, and so on and so forth. And so again, there's just that internal power that you have because of your experience. What does your boss secretly think of you? The office. Some of you could be working in an office. It says delegating more can help you increase your earnings, right? Secretary, staff assistant, office manager, or any job working in an office. Think of the greater good than oneself to achieve a better outcome. And that's something that you also have to offer, is that you do think of the greater good. But I feel like, again, with the martyr energy, they're coming through and saying, like, don't be a martyr in a situation just because no one else is taking responsibility, or just because no one else is thinking of the greater good, right? Make sure you set those solid emotional boundaries. You don't have to take on everybody else's problems. Just face your own right now, because you have something to offer. We have Gaia. Trust the universe has a better plan than you do. Protecting the planet, herbal, or working with nature in some way. Essential oils is coming in as well. So spend time with nature to be healed, soothed, and regroup. Yeah. So they want you to heal. They want you to regroup. That's that energy that's coming in this whole time. They want you to reevaluate yourself and see yourself through eyes of confidence. Parenthood. Okay, healing your inner child will help you make money. It says caregiver, teacher, pediatrician, or any career centered on children. Don't forget to nurture yourself while you work towards your goals. So again, taking care of, loving yourself. And that could be something that's coming out as well, as they recognize that what had happened before is an inner childhood wound, right? Feeling like you have to take responsibility because no one else will. So it's like, you know, that feeling of, if no one's going to take accountability for the wrong actions that were done, then I might as well take it, so that way then we can move on. Right? It's just basically saying, like, I can handle it, but why is it yours to handle in the first place? Like, that's the question here. And I feel like that's something that they've wondered too. Like, why was it yours to handle? Just because no one else was taking accountability didn't mean that there needed to be someone to say, hey, it's me. And I feel like that's something that you went through. Yeah. Capricorn, ambition, realism, and methodical steps. So they do see that you're very ambitious. And they see that you have a lot of potential. Like, that's the thing that keeps coming out, is potential. Grounding with tree. They want you to ground yourself in your energy. Right? Again, healing. As within, so without. As above, so below. So when you heal and you recognize your power and you stay grounded in that power, that's when you're unstoppable and running from this place of intuition. Right? Angel energy. I love that this came out. Helping those in need with no expectation of return. Seeing the greater good. Right? Wasn't that the office energy here? Seeing the greater good. And that's something that you do. So again, like, therapy work is coming in really strongly here. Okay, so we have shadow attributes. Acting innocent or angelic to mislead others. Falsely claiming to be in touch with angelic guidance. Yeah, so I do feel like that you've been misguided, or that there was someone who told you that you weren't as intuitive as you are, or they've tried to make you question how intuitive you are. And right now your boss is secretly thinking, like, that's such a shame, because your intuition is what helps them out so much. And they want you to trust that. Veiled paths. A hidden path in the secret garden offers a shortcut. Will you choose bravery or safety? Choose the path less traveled. Yeah, and I feel like for you, sometimes it's like, well, yeah, but how can intuition really truly help me in my position? And it does. When you trust yourself, that gut feeling you get, or that moment when you're like, I have to move, I have to act on this, I have to do this because I know it's going to be beneficial, not just for me, but for everybody, right? Helping everybody. It's like, that's what your boss really likes. Temptation of light. When drawn powerfully to something that seems bright, carefully determine if it truly benefits you. Choose wisely. So this could have been that you were in a position that paid really, really highly, but also part of that, it was like there's this huge draw to go there because there was so much money that you were making. But also then if you got pushed out, or if you became the scapegoat for someone else, you realize it wasn't worth it, right? Sometimes people like to make things glitter as bright as possible just to draw you in, even though what they're basically dressing up is a big pile of doo-doo, right? Like, so we have to remember, like, not to be tempted, but to trust our inner knowing. And I feel like your boss is realizing that too. Like, they realize that when you trust your inner knowing, you're able to help them guide them through difficult situations too. And it's not them wanting to rely on you. It's not them wanting to lean on you in that aspect. It's them wanting you to be a part of the team and an integral part of the team because you are valuable. Perspective again. So we've got, if you change the way you look at things, you could see everything in a brand new light that will help you get where you want to be. So perspective here is just showing like you bring a unique perspective to the company. You bring a unique perspective to the team. They really enjoy having you here, and they do think like a black swan. They're not as common as white swans, right? They're very unique energy, and they're grateful for you, but they need you to be grateful for you too. And I feel like that's just a challenge right now because you're healing from something that happened in the past, and that's okay, right? Especially if it was you getting kicked out, or you getting fired, or you getting pushed out, or you taking the fall for something that wasn't your fault. You know, that can definitely weigh a lot on someone. And please give yourself space and time to heal from that, to grieve from that. But also remind yourself that you are good at what you do and that you deserve to be celebrated, acknowledged, and respected for what you have to offer. Okay, so let's take a look at your card. I'm going to read this from the book. We're going to see what it says. Spider. You're very creative. Yeah, you have so much to offer. And that's the thing, like a spider. I love spider energy because spiders go through heck, and they get their webs get destroyed by anything, even just getting dinner, right? Their web will get destroyed, but they're not above just taking it down and starting over and just being so present with the process of creating their web, right? Because that's how they feed themselves. That's how they take care of themselves. And every time it's unique. Every time they build a web, it's unique. It's different. It's a reflection of them in that moment. And so it's that reminder that we're never the same person twice. And that's why each day we wake up as a new human being. And I feel like your boss just wants you to remember that. Like, it's okay to be different every day. Don't blame yourself for something that happened yesterday. Yesterday's dead and gone. You know, move on. Don't let it weigh you down, and don't let it become the reason you stop performing at your best. Why can we not find you? Okay. Yeah, so look, we have Spider, creator of prosperity through life's work and dharma. The spider's an ingenious creator. Its greatest gift is weaving the thread of dharma into a vast, intricate web that supports the spider and those around it. So there's something about how supportive you are to the team, to the people that you work with as well. Your boss is really appreciative of that, both financially and spiritually. So again, with spiritual work as well, and the high priestess or the popess energy here, right? There's something that you do. You're driven by your spirituality. You're driven by your intuition. You're driven by your gift. It is hard work, but the spider neither tires nor becomes impatient, right? They just do the thing. This card reminds us creativity is everywhere. Be process-oriented rather than results-oriented, and soon your work becomes like weaving of a magical, priceless tapestry. Abundance will follow. And we see that, right? When in balance, you're appreciative, enthusiastic, and prosperous. When out of balance, you tend to be discouraged, tired, and forlorn. So your boss has seen that, right? He's seen you out of balance, and they want you to be enthusiastic about what you're doing because they feel like you have so much to offer. That's the main thing here. To bring into balance is playful creativity. So spend some time again with your inner child. We saw that as well with the parenthood card, right? It's imperative that you heal the inner child. It's imperative that you take time to focus on yourself. But overall, I feel like your boss is truly grateful to have you there. But again, there's this fine line. Like, they don't want to step over boundaries here. They don't want to interfere too much on your personal life because they are still trying to keep that business professional energy going there, right? Like, we can't just swoop in and just learn all about pile one's personal life because we don't want to seem like we're being nosy, or they don't want to seem like they're trying to overstep their bounds. Okay, so that's what I see here for you today, pile one. You're really lucky. If this resonated with you, really lucky that you have a boss like this who cares deeply about you. Also, I feel like your boss and you probably get along in talking about your spiritual journeys, if that's something that you would ever be willing to open up about or feel comfortable with opening up about them, with them. They'd probably enjoy talking about that with you. So if you felt like this was your reading, leave the little spider emoji down below and say, today I choose to do the thing. I choose to weave my web of creativity, life, and intuition, knowing that I'm moving towards my highest aligned self. And that it's okay for me to be human. It's okay for me to have those moments, okay? And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box in order to do so. So I'd like to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, our angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this message today. And until next time, pile number one, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with Scorpio on it, just an option to choose from. You don't have to be a Scorpio, but if you're here because you are, that's fine. Or perhaps you were called to this piece of rose quartz. Or maybe you felt called to this card during the shuffle. This is going to be a reading on what does your boss secretly think of you. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining us. I do things differently here on this channel, so there might be triggering statements that do arise on the readings themselves. There's no obligation to force it to fit, while keeping in mind that triggers can be a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journeys. Should the messages happen to resonate with you, it'd mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And please know that your time, your energy, and your presence are a true gift and a blessing, and I'm deeply honored to be here sharing it with you today. So with that, let's go ahead and hop to it and find out pile number two. What does your boss secretly think of you? What does your boss secretly think of you, pile two? Source, what would you like to share with us today for pile number two? Okay, love that the 10th house came out for your pile. We've got the 10th house, Gemini, and the Sun. There's two energies coming in here. One is that you work really hard and that you're consistent and you're determined. And the other one is that you might be rigid in your work schedule or your work in and of itself. Like, you do things a certain way and you don't change, and you're not going to change for anybody or anything. And that sometimes that makes you difficult to work with. But I do feel like most of you are very adaptable to your job and to circumstances that come up, and you definitely shine bright. Right? Like, most of the time they're really excited that you're able to take on new policies or new procedures, and you're willing to work hard with them. And please, if you're someone who has a hard time with change, you know, don't beat yourself up for that. That's not something that is easy for most people. Like, change is really hard for most people, and that's why it's like routines become something that we lean into, because it gives us structure, and that consistency is something that we can look forward to. And again, it's not that it's a bad thing against you. It's just that I do feel like for some of you, you're very used to your routine when it comes to your job or what you do at work, and so you might have a hard time working with new team members or new people that get hired on, or you might be somebody that just shoulders all the work yourself. It's like you won't ask for help, and so that's what makes you very rigid when it comes to your job with the 10th house here. And that can be a block for you, because it's just trying to carry too much, right? Like, it's okay for you to delegate. It's okay for you to invite others to help as well, but sometimes there's this idea or this mindset where it's like, if they don't do it the same way that you would, you feel like it's wrong. So you might be a manager yourself, actually, And your boss notices this too. And so if you might have a hard time delegating work, you might have a hard time helping others out as well. But mostly you do adapt well to new circumstances, and you're very honest, or you're at least very easy to communicate with. You're very easy to talk to. You're very easy to tell new things to, and you do shine at work, and you're seen as somebody who's taking on leadership roles. So like I said, you might be a manager yourself, and so your boss is grateful that you're there because you do help a lot. You do a lot for your position, and I do feel like people trust you and they do want to follow you, but sometimes they might feel like you're very, like, in that rigidity, they might feel like they can't get through to you, or that you're going to take it away and do it yourself. And so I do feel like there's a pressure for a lot of people to try to perfect their work here underneath you. And again, it's just because you have a certain standard. It's not necessarily a bad thing, right? But also, it's okay to let other people help you. Like, I think that's something that's important to say. Because when we're not letting other people help us, it means we're coming from a state of control, and we're trying to control all the outcomes, and that's just such a burden to carry on our shoulders, right? So that's definitely reminiscent of a childhood wound or childhood trauma, and that's something that is coming through for many of you. But I do feel like for most of you, it's just I'm really excited to see you shine in your position and to work with you, because you are very consistent, you are very determined, you're very ambitious, you're disciplined, and you show up, which in this day and age might not seem like a big deal, but it definitely is. So for pile number 2, what does your boss secretly think of you? Let's dig in a little bit deeper here and see what comes through. What does your boss secretly think of you, pile 2? Okay, thank you, source. What does your boss secretly think of you? I do feel like you put out a lot of effort and you don't get paid as much as the effort that you put out, and that's something that they recognize too. I'm gonna get 4 cards today. What does your boss secretly think of you? Thank you. What does your boss secretly think of you, pile number 2? Whoa. I do feel like there's a lot of appreciation here. For most. There's also with some, there's just like, you guys have a hard time getting along together. Yeah, okay. Now that makes sense. So there's 2 bosses here. Okay, there's 2 boss energies coming in for sure. Okay, yeah. It's interesting to get 2 of Cups in a boss reading like this, because you just never know which way it's going to go, but this kind of makes sense. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we got the 2 of Cups, the 5 of Swords, and the Lover card all in the reverse here. Okay, so this could be you work with an ex or somebody who showed potential romantic interest in you. You might have declined them, or this is somebody who had no business showing romantic connections with you and you declined them. And now they're really mad, and that's why it's like, oh, you're too rigid. Like, that's the rigidity that's coming through as well. This is an interesting energy. They were trying to cheat. Maybe they were married, or maybe it was just like, it's like a taboo. Sometimes people do things just for the sake of it being taboo. It's like the rush of it being wrong is what makes it exciting, and so that's why some people do that. But I do feel like there's somebody here who at some point is your boss or works in tandem with you and might have been your boss at some point, who tried to get involved with you romantically and was pressuring you into something that you didn't want to do. But I do feel, yeah, I do feel 2 boss energies here for sure. Okay. You might have resonated with some messages from pile number 1, or you came from pile number 1. That's only if you feel called to. You can definitely check that out. There might be additional messages for you there. There's been this underlying message across the whole reading where there's been a lot of personal transformation lately. And you're finding a lot more confidence in yourself and in your abilities. But I also feel like the thing here is that your boss secretly thinks that you're also finding confidence and trusting when you're seeing red flags or when you're seeing things that aren't for you, right? And that's where you're becoming more adaptable. So that, again, that rigidity might be routine, but I also feel like for some, that rigidity that's coming through is because of a boundary, right? The 10th house deals with boundaries. The 10th house deals with difficult situations as well. And so it's talking about where you set some sort of a boundary with someone that you work with and you're following in line with that, and you're saying like, look, this just isn't going to work for me, right? Like, we're not going to go down that road. And it doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. Just the 2 of Cups being on the bottom of the deck does point towards somebody being romantically brokenhearted here, like things not working out, one-sided love, or not being able to get what they want in a situation too, right? So when they saw you, they figured that maybe you were going to easily come towards them, but they did pressure you. There's someone here who pressured you. It does feel like boss energy. Like I said, this feels like 2 separate energies. Like I feel like there's a line cut down the middle. Like there's some that are dealing with this and there's some that are dealing with this. And it feels like some of you are dealing with someone who's really upset about you saying no or turning them down or rejecting them. And others of you, there's a boss here who's like basically cheering you on from the background, like, yeah, I'm glad you rejected that person. You did the right thing for yourself. You stood up for yourself. You didn't let them push you around. Or they're just really glad because you're very consistent, determined, and you decisively make choices at work that benefit you. They benefit the team. They benefit, you know, everybody that's involved, and you do it without a moment's hesitation. And that's what makes you really adaptable. But it's just a very interesting energy here, because I do feel like with the Knight of Wands, you're incredibly confident in yourself right now, very secure in the position that you have, but very secure with yourself and your energy moving forward as well. And you're not letting people, you know, change you, and you're not letting people force you with your back up against the wall or between a rock and a hard place. Why do I feel that that song is coming in, you know, stuck in the middle with you, got jokers to the left of me, what are clowns to the left of me, jokers to my right, stuck in the middle with you. And I feel like that's you right now. Like, you've been stuck in the middle between different people, between different situations, and there's somebody here who's definitely cheering you on, who is seeing that you have matured, that you have overcome, like, right, like, you took a situation that felt like it was out of control and you controlled yourself. We were talking about that control, right? And that's coming back around. Like, you controlled yourself, which helped you take control of the situation. But it wasn't about controlling it to the means of like diminishing it or because you felt out of control. It was controlling the situation because it needed to be dealt with type energy coming through here. And you decided to move on. Right? So you invest in yourself, you invest in what can give you assets for future projects, what can give you wisdom for future projects, future outcomes, whatever it is. And so you're investing in that. So there is a boss here who is secretly excited to see you move on from a potentially dangerous situation, like dangerous in the gonna lose a job situation. Like, that's what this feels like, right? Not like physically dangerous or anything like that, but something where it's like, this is not going to bode well for me if I get involved in this. And if you were getting pressured, like, this could have been someone who is using their title and their status as a means to make you do something that they wanted that was only beneficial to them, and that you were just like, no, I'm not going to get involved with that. So you definitely saw the red flag in that. You acted on that. And there's another energy here that's just really glad that you protected yourself. I want to get a little bit more. I want to see if Source can tell us a little bit more about the situation or what's to come from this situation. Yeah, what's to come. Look, so a confirmation, we've got the King of Wands coming out again. You went into the snake den and they didn't realize that you were a snake yourself. Not in a bad way, right? But you were powerful and you knew who you wanted to be and you knew what was important for you. And so it's like you know, they opened up the door and they didn't realize that you were a more powerful snake, right? It's like gardener snakes inviting in the rattler. Who's going to win, right? Of course, that's what it feels like here. And they didn't realize that until they came face to face with you. The sun, again, another confirmation. Yeah. And so now you're shining. And I feel like after having dealt with this situation, it did give you a boost of confidence, and it gave you a boost of self-worth, like realizing like it's okay for me to stand up for myself, even if someone's trying to use my livelihood against me. Right? Sometimes people like get really caught up in like, oh my gosh, like they sign the paychecks, like I have to do what they ask. That's not the way it works at all. Like there are definitely laws for protection and stuff like that, but I do feel like that's something that's coming through here, is that they're trying to threaten either your livelihood, your position, or something like that. They were definitely trying to pressure you into something that was uncomfortable, and you survived and you came out on top. And there's a boss here that's really happy that you were able to protect yourself from something that was potentially emotionally damaging, or even physically damaging, in the sense of loss of possessions is what this feels like. Loss of finances, a loss of a home, loss of something like that. But I feel like what Source really wants to remind you of is that when you stand confident in your energy, when you stand proud of yourself, then even it's not that these energies won't come forward. It's unfortunate to say, but it's just a reminder that we'll always deal with difficult energies in this world. Like that's just a part of our life, right? Like we're always going to run into people who don't want us to succeed. We're always going to run into people who want the worst possible things for us. We're going to run into people who want us hurt and they don't even know us from Adam and Eve. You know, whatever the situation is, because that's just, some people exist in that energy, and we're going to bump into so many people in our world. Like we just don't know. But what happens when we face those energies, like when they are trying to attack us, or when they are trying to harm us, or when they are trying to get us to lose face, or whatever the situation may be, what happens is we gain the strength to face them no matter when they do happen to show up in our lives. And it gives us the discernment that we need so that we don't get deeply involved with those situations, but rather basically skate back past them. That's what navigating this world is. It's just learning to skate past those situations without letting them become emotionally damaging or emotionally triggering or emotionally exhausting, whatever the situation may be, or mentally exhausting and such and so forth, right? And that's what I feel like you've been given some sort of like green card here, where it's like you're passed to, you know, like every time this situation comes down, you lay down this green card and it gives you a pass from the situation. You're able to honor your own energy and follow what works for you. And there's a boss here who's really glad, because maybe this other boss that you've had, or this other manager, or this other situation that you had in your life, like there might have been a lot of people who fell for these really sneaky, nefarious energies that this person is in. And so it feels like there's somebody here who's just really glad that you didn't put up with it. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Chariot. Under that, we have the 10 of Cups and the King of Cups. Yeah, so you definitely overcame something and emotionally have found stability within yourself. You had victory over a lesser opponent, and in some cases, even maybe a stronger opponent here. Like if they were upper management, you overcame it, and you overcame it with grace, and you overcame it with power too. There's a sense of power here where it's like a boundary that will not be crossed. That's why I kept getting that rigidity, right? And being rigid it's like a block, right? It's a stop. Nope, absolutely. Do not enter. Access denied, right? Like that's the type of energy that's coming through here. And I feel like there's another boss here. If you have multiple bosses, there's another boss here who is just really ecstatic that you were able to overcome this situation. I don't know, this energy, it feels like they have some tie to the company. Like it could be a privately owned company, and this could be like, what's that word? Well, I can't think of it. This could be someone that like their father or their mother owns the company, or their family of whoever owns the company or whatever. Or they just have a shoe-in to the company because they've been there for so long. You know, whatever it is, it just feels like they don't really work. They just kind of do whatever they want and they get away with it. You ever seen Ted? You know the guy that's her boss in Ted? That's kind of this creepy energy that I'm getting from this person. If you haven't seen Ted, that's okay. Like, this is only going to resonate with those of you that have seen Ted. But, you know, like, after she leaves and he goes over and he sniffs the chair, like, it's just really creepy. Like, he's just super creepy. But it's weird because there's so many women in the office that slept with him, right? Or who went out with him or you know, messed around with him. And it's like, because of his position, he used his position to, you know, get away with whatever it was that he was getting away with. And he was just so arrogant and such, I mean, just the guy, excuse the expression, but the guy was a douchebag. I mean, he really is in the movie, just a super douchebag. And like, that's the type of energy that I'm getting here. It's like, there's somebody who's just really not a good person. Like, they think that because they're a manager or a boss or a CEO or something like that, they just think that they can treat people however they want, because who's going to stop them? Well, that's the kind of thought process you have until somebody stops you. And I feel like you were one of those people, and you might have been the only person who was like, absolutely not. Nope, we're not going to go down that road. Or maybe you're married and they kept pressuring you. You know, they're like, come on, you know, like, what's that old saying? Like, just dust it off before it gets all cobwebs or whatever like that. Like, just really gross. Like, it just feels like a really gross energy. It really does. Like, I don't like it. But then I'm also feeling this other energy where it's like somebody was watching from the background, and they were just like, when they watched you basically put this person in their place, this is who's coming through. They're just like, yes, go pile two, go pile two. Yeah, like, I'm so glad someone finally just gave them the 1-2, you know, and so there's definitely someone here who's mad because you rejected them in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't necessarily have to be sexual or love offer or anything like that, but you rejected them because they were pressuring you. This could have even been rejecting a potential promotion that just wasn't in the cards for you. Like, it wasn't something that you wanted, right? It was like, no, like, I'm not really down for that. It's not going to work. Or it was like trying to give you more responsibility when it wasn't yours to take. And you said no, and there's somebody back in the foreground that's like, woo, go pile two. And so I feel like this, whoever's cheering you on definitely has their eye on you, and they are making mental that's like a mental checklist of things that they would like to present to somebody to either give you a promotion or to maybe bring you over to their side, their team, their situation. I don't know. Their team, like something about their team. Maybe they want to bring you on as like assistant manager if you're not a manager. I do feel like many of you are a manager, and so they want to bring you over and train you for a new position in management or something along those lines. Yeah, definitely feel two clear-cut energies here. What else would you like to tell pile 2 source? Cardinal energy. Yeah. So we have Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn with instigation, bravery, and a pioneering spirit. Yeah, you definitely laid a new line in the sand when it came to someone here. And so there is somebody here who's hurt by that. But there's also a lot of people that are grateful for you. And I feel like that's just something like they didn't know they could say no. And you showed people that they could say no. And so there's some people who are really excited about that. There's upper management who's really excited about that. Maybe they've lost a lot of employees because of whoever this is, but they can't do anything. That's what I'm saying. Like, it feels like this person has a shoe into the company itself. It's just a really, like, it's just, I don't know. I just don't, it's like dizzy on a brick. Like, I've got managed, or I'm a CEO. You can't touch me. No one can touch me. Like, I'm going to use my job title to do whatever I want. Like, that's the type of energy that's coming in here. And you're the one that's making waves in the company, and they're hoping that you're going to influence the people in power to make a better decision for the department that you're in, the company that you're in, the position that you're in, so that they can phase this person out. Yeah, okay, so conjunction, a union, merging, coming together. You know, this could be somebody's ex. This could be your ex, or this person that's cheering you on, the person that tried to pressure you to doing something could be their ex. Like, there could, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this could be the ties to the company. Maybe it's a husband or a wife, a spouse of someone in the company. And they're just using their power in order to to just do whatever they want. But that with the conjunction card, it could also be, again, they offered you a romantic connection, or maybe they offered you like that dude and Ted, like let's just go and hit it and quit it type situation. But you've been really vigilant about your stance on the situation. You have not let them sway you, even though they've tried. Like, I feel like they constantly come towards you and they're like, hey, why don't you do it today? Why don't you do it today? Like, why not today? Why not today? And you're just like, no, that's okay. Like, I don't need that at all, you know? Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Like, I do feel like at some point you were very vulnerable when it came to this situation, but you've healed yourself a lot. Wasn't I saying that too? Like, that control situation came from a childhood wound. So maybe in the past you might have been like, not necessarily open to this, but you would have handled it in a completely different way to try to gain the upper hand, and you allowed yourself to be vulnerable. Maybe you asked HR for help, or maybe you asked somebody in a different department from help, or maybe it's because you chose to just be yourself in the situation, which is sometimes really difficult, but you put down the mask and you let yourself be seen, and you let your power be seen. Right? You might really resonate with the collective message I did at the beginning, which you'll find timestamp down below. If you feel called to watching that, you can. But you're re-empowering yourself, and because of that, there's no questioning that, right? Like, there's no going against that personal power. There's no swaying you. What else would you like to tell pile 2, source? Thank you. Does our pause secretly think? Yeah. Look, okay, so it's not even really about you. I know it's frustrating when we ask these questions and it comes out like this, but again, I'm an energy reader, so I have to go with where the energy is going. But we have Don Juan coming out. Spotlight your positive, seductive qualities. Look at this. Using the power of romantic attraction for private agendas. So this is exactly the type of energy that I was feeling. This is someone who's trying to be a Don Juan, a Don Jane, whatever you want to call it, or Donna Juana. If you want to, right? But this is somebody who is using their position to, as romance or sexual encounters, or, you know, whatever it is. They're definitely not using it in a proper way. And for you, I feel like you're a very attractive person, energetically, physically, emotionally, mentally. It does not matter. You could fall into one, a couple, or all of those categories. But this is somebody who noticed that right off the bat, and they wanted to make you a trophy on their shelf. And I think everybody was kind of holding their breath, wondering, well, are they going to do it? Is pile 2 going to do it? Is pile 2 gonna bend to the pressure, fold to the pressure? And you never did. You didn't. You were just like, no. And that's part of your sexual prowess too, is being able to say no and mean no, and not take anything less than respect for that no. And, you know, again, it doesn't necessarily have to be sexual, but that's where it's coming from, is your sexual prowess. Because you're meaning no, and you demand respect, and that's your emotional body, right? The sacral chakra. Yeah, mental mastery. Interesting. Vacation. Bottom of the deck, we have moment's notice. Fortune rides a swift slipstream. Position yourself to plunge into its path. Stay alert and seize swiftly. Yeah, so you are choosing your integrity over peer pressure here, or over maybe this is just pressure from the higher ups. Mental mastery. You'll master a skill that enhances your mental acuity and analytical abilities. Focus on skill refinement, excel in execution. So that's what I was saying, like, everybody's really excited that you said no to whatever this is. And maybe it's not somebody who's advancing on you, but maybe it's someone who offered you a less than ideal position in the company. They expected you to just jump at it because it was a new position, a new chance, a new opportunity, but it didn't fall in line with where your goals are taking you, and so you chose to say no. And that's part of mental mastery. One second. Okay, and then we have vacation. A pause in routine can unveil paths to prosperity and hidden pitfalls. Watch the signs. Pause, perceive, proceed. Yeah, so I do feel like you This could have been someone too, like, I don't know why this is coming through. This is a really specific message with the vacation card. This could have been someone who offered to take you on a really expensive cruise or vacation so that they could, again, use their position, their power to coerce you into something, and you didn't necessarily answer them right away, and so they got their hopes up that you were going to do what they wanted. But then you came back with this resounding no, and they were completely taken aback by it. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe somebody rejected me. And they do hurt from the rejection, but you know what? They set themselves up for that. Eventually, someone's going to say no. Like, rejection's a part of life. They didn't imagine that it would be you. And I'm glad it was you. This is a wild reading. What does your boss secretly think about you? What does your boss secretly think about you? Yeah, on the table. So we have time to put your demands on the table and get serious about what you want. Ask for a raise, promotion, or a step up. Yeah, so it's time for you to be serious about what you want from this job. And don't be afraid to ask for it. But I also feel like this is something too, like, they are secretly dejected by you, and it's because you put everything on the table. You just put it out there. You put yourself out there, which was being vulnerable, right? Like, you're not going to let somebody treat you this way. You're not going to let someone get away with this. And that is a state of vulnerability, because you're brave enough to confront somebody head on. And it might not seem vulnerable. It might seem aggressive, but it's not, especially when you're coming from a place of calm, clear-headed energy. Yeah, protection. You're being protected from deceit and from situations that no longer serve you. Lie low for a while and you will be shown the truth. And that's the thing. You were definitely protected from this situation. And maybe there weren't other people there that were protecting you, but I do feel like Source came in, your angels, your guides, they definitely came in to protect you from this situation. They made it very clear what this person was about, and that helped you make a very clear decision. What else for pile 2, Source? Yeah. Okay, they want one more of these. Yep, right away. Okay, so on the bottom we have parenthood. Yeah, this came out pile 1 on the bottom of the deck too. It says healing your inner child will help you make money. Caregiver, teacher, pediatrician, or any career centered on children. Don't forget to nurture yourself while you work toward your goal. And we had the childhood innocence card underneath vulnerability. So healing inner childhood wounds. This is something that's helping you heal inner child wounds. Okay. So we had unexpected that flipped out first. Prepare for unexpected financial loss. This financial crisis may be out of your control, but you can still control the outcome. Deal with things ahead and try to prepare for the unexpected before it happens. So this was something that was unexpected. Like, what happened with this situation was unexpected. But it was equally unexpected how you chose to show up for this situation with this boss. And they didn't know how to handle it. And for you, again, that was like putting all your cards on the table, and there was no other option but for them to respond instead of react. Even if they tried to react, there was no place for them to go. Like, there was policies in place, or there was certain legal situations in place where they actually they were forced to respond, and that's not what they like to do. Like, this is a boss who likes to react. Like, they like to jump at things. They like to make a drama. They like to make crazy. Like, this is someone who likes that because they enjoy the chaos. With teacher energy, you have the ability to motivate others and to strive to uncover their true potential. Consider careers in teaching, coaching, mentorship, or being a motivational speaker. You've learned much about money. This is a time to put it into practice. So again, you taught others, and that was something that came through really clearly. Like, you taught others that it's okay to say no. Like, where no one felt comfortable saying no for whatever reason, like, you are an example of why it's safe to say no. And that has definitely changed some dynamic within your workplace. You know, even if you don't notice it, it has definitely changed some type of dynamic within your workplace. We've worked smart. Are you making it harder than it has to be? Sometimes the solutions are simple. Perhaps it's time to clean house personally and professionally. Start with a clean palette. Stick to basic needs when it comes to spending and putting some money aside. So yeah, instead of making it harder on yourself, you looked at the situation, you made a decision based on what was best for your needs, and that didn't serve this boss's needs, and they feel like they struck out, they feel dejected, they feel mad about it. Let them be in their feelings about it. That is not your problem. That is their problem. That's something they have to face, right? Like I said, rejection's a part of life. It happens to us all. We either face it head on when it comes, or we can let it be what controls our day-to-day actions, reactions, and feelings. And some of us are on either side of the spectrum, and most of us fall somewhere in the middle, right? That's just being human. Shapeshifter. Skilled at navigating through different levels of consciousness, the ability to see the potential in everything. The shadow is projecting any image that serves your personal agenda in the moment. So that's what this person was doing. They were projecting something onto you that served their agenda, and they expected you to believe in that and to fall in line with that, and you didn't. And now they're mad about it. But again, I do feel like there's somebody in the outskirts here that's cheering you on. They might not be a direct manager, or it's somebody that's been affected deeply by this manager, and you've given them a new sense of meaning and a new sense of being safe at the job. Like, they really look up to you. There's somebody outside. Like, I feel like they're in the shadows. Like, you might not even know their name, or you might know their name, but you don't really know much about them. They're definitely cheering you on. And if they are a manager, like, you've definitely give them a new sense of what it means to stand up for self, right? Wealth. You're working towards real wealth and prosperity in your life. Keep investing in yourself and into long-term career planning. So you're doing something that is going to bring you wealth because you're looking at long-term. It's not about the quick gains. It's about over time, which is where that discipline comes from. So you could be doing something, maybe you work in the stock market, you're in sales, commission type job as well is coming in. You don't have to be, but or you're looking at long-term growth, right? Like where you have a career path and you are really moving forward with that career path. So that's something that's coming from this too. And part of that had to start with you saying no to this person in the background, whatever situation you were saying no to. Like I said, they're showing in the cards it was romantic advancements or potentially sexual advancements, but this could have been someone who wanted you to be their grunt worker, who wanted you to take on their responsibility. There's a lot of different types of energies that are coming in, but ultimately there are people who are watching you with reverence, and they're excited to see what it is that you're going to bring in this position that you're in because they see your potential. Okay, so let's take a look at this card. I'm going to read this from the book. We're going to see what it says. Well, I'm so sorry you had to deal with someone like this. That's no fun. Whale, see the bigger picture. Trust in the mystery of life. Something much bigger is at play here than, like I said, I feel like whoever this is that you rejected, they're like, they don't really belong. It's like they got a shoe-in. I keep hearing that, a shoe-in, a shoe-in, a shoe-in. It's like they were given a gift and they're squandering their gift. Like, that's what this feels like. Yeah. All right, let's see what Whale says. Whale. Yeah, it's a big mystery, and Source is definitely helping you too. Shark. Whale. Yeah, a desire to delve deeper, profound peace and ancient wisdom. It says the whale represents profound emotional health and stability. That's that vulnerability energy that we saw too. Whale personalities are not afraid of emotional expression or traversing difficult terrain, as they have overcome many challenges in their lives. And that makes total sense for your reading too. It says these experiences have enriched them, given them stability, strength, and a depth that is rare. Whale energy is usually linked to feminine forces of compassion and communication, right? And communication has been all the way throughout your reading as well. We can depend on whale personalities when all else seems lost and trust them to be a beacon in our darkest hour. When in balance, you're calm, steady, and deeply compassionate. When out of balance, you tend to be heavy or slips into the old story, right? Those old self-deprecating beliefs or self-limiting beliefs or patterns that have kept you in a state of lack. To bring into balance is regular self-care. Yeah, and I just feel like that's the thing. Like, you really believe in yourself. You've really come into this strength, this internal strength, and it shows in everything that you do. And that is actually setting a lot of examples for people around you, whether you're aware of it or not. And so there's definitely people who are admiring you. But with this boss situation, there's two bosses here that were coming through pretty strongly. One is not in a good frame of mind at all. They're coming from an old paradigm that they believe that they have the right to control the world. And then there's another boss here who wants to see you overcome this situation, because I do feel like they're going to put in some sort of recommendation to have you moved either to their team or into a new position, or even maybe take over this other person's position. So I do feel like there's a lot that's about to happen for you. If it's not already in the works, it's going on behind the scenes right now. So definitely, you know, keep an eye out for that. And if this resonated with you, again, I'm so sorry you had to deal with somebody like this, but leave the little whale emoji down below and say, it's through my depth of wisdom and knowledge that I'm able to navigate the difficult circumstances in life and still come out on top, aligned with my higher good and my higher purpose. And if it resonated with you, it means so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. If you are interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box. I'd like to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this message today. And until next time, pile number 2, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with Uranus on it, or perhaps you felt called to this piece of yellow jasper, or maybe you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be a reading on what does your boss secretly think of you. We're all here sharing this human experience together. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining us. I do things differently here, so there may be triggering statements that do arise on the readings themselves. There's no obligation to force it to fit, while keeping in mind that triggers can be a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journeys. If the messages do resonate, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And please know that your time, your energy, and your presence are a true gift and a blessing, and I'm deeply honored to be here sharing them with you today. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get to it. I do want to mention, though, that there is this energy that's coming through where your boss secretly thinks that either you're selling yourself out or that you don't actually know the amount of information that you know. Like, they are trying to diminish your wisdom or diminish your experience, and that could be because they're jealous. It could also be because they don't want you to advance in your position. They want to keep their position and they feel like you're going to bump them out or something like that. It's been a really weird, like, definitely really weird energy that's coming in here where someone's gossiping a lot about you, like they're telling other managers or they're telling other people in your company that you're not as good as you say that you are, or that you are, you know, that you're making things up. Like, that's what this feels like. There's somebody here saying you're making things up, and I feel like that is just them trying to save themselves. They're just trying to make it seem like they're better than they really are. And you are letting your work speak for itself. And most times when there's situations like this, even though it's super frustrating, I get that, pile 3, the best thing that you can do is let your work speak for itself. There's no reason for you to fight. There's no reason for you to even try to defend yourself or to explain yourself in this situation. And when I say defend, it's not about, like, you stand up for yourself. Absolutely. But when I mean defend is like when we go to bat for ourselves and we're trying to say, well, I know this because of this, that, and the other. That's explaining ourselves. We don't need to do that in situations like this, because it's only giving these people more fuel to spread more lies and more slander against us. But there's definitely a boss here that is very jealous, or they are very concerned, and they're coming from a place of fear, and they are taking it out on you for whatever reason. And I feel like it has to do with the amount of experience that you have, or your abilities that you bring to the table, and they know that they can't keep up with that. So let's find out some more. What does your boss secretly think of you, pile 1? Or I'm sorry, pile 3. What does your boss secretly think of you, pile number 3? Source, what would you like to share today? Yeah, 8th house. Yeah, there's a lot of jealousy, a lot of oppression here. There's a lot of aggression here. I feel like they don't like you. Ooh, they do not like you, pile 3. I'm sorry you have to deal with somebody like this at work. That's really frustrating. They might not, you might have multiple bosses that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. That's understandable, but there's definitely a boss here that's super jealous of you. They are very, like, they're trying to control the situation for their own benefit, and they're being very aggressive. I think they're hoping that you're going to fight them the way that they would fight someone if someone was trying to do this to them. They're hoping that you blow up, and then when you blow up, they can be like, see, I told you pile 3 was unstable. I told you pile 3 didn't know how to take care of this. I told you pile 3 wasn't doing what they said they were doing. Like, that's what they're trying to do here, is they're trying to get you to step up off your path, and you're not, right? Like, you are focused on yourself. Like I said, I feel like the main thing here is to let your work speak for itself, because it will. Even if it's not right now, it will. Like, your time is coming. But there's somebody here who's definitely gossiping about you, especially with Gemini in the center. It's like, love Gemini, ruled by Mercury. Mercury is a planet of gossip. Geminis can be a sign of gossip. They love it. They love drama. They love sharing stories. And nothing against a Gemini. If you want information, find a Gemini because they've got it all, right? They're just really good at gathering information. Whether it's false or true, it doesn't matter. They got it, right? And they'll share it. They love sharing it. But that's this energy. This is somebody who's trying to gather really, they're just gossiping about you. They're trying to make you seem bad. They're trying to make you seem like you're jealous of them. They're trying to make it seem like you're the problem here. And they're very aggressively spreading lies about you. They are aggressively spreading lies about you. And I just feel like the thing is that people, maybe they don't take this person very seriously, or this has happened before. Like, this person has done this with another person before in a similar situation. And so they're aware of what's going on. And there might be avenues that people are trying to take in order to prevent this from happening in the future. But right now, I do feel like things are just moving really slowly, and it feels like, when are things going to work out for you? Like, I keep hearing that. When are things going to work out for me? You know, I've been patient, I've waited, but this person is still doing this. They're still acting like wild. Why are they doing this? I didn't do anything to them. Like, there's no reason. I don't understand why they're being this way. This is just the type of person that they are. Like, they just, it wouldn't matter if it was you or someone else, right? And they've made that very clear, even with other people in the company. Let's dig a little bit deeper into this. Yeah. And I feel like the thing is that this person doesn't actually know very much. Like, what it is that they're spreading is the truth about themselves, right? What's that song from that Pitbull song? I tell the truth even when I lie. I wish I could remember. It's a song that he does with Blake Shelton. It's the very last song. Or it's the very last line. Oh, yeah, it's the very last line in the song. It's like, I even tell the truth, or I tell the truth even when I lie. Like, that's the thing. It's like, I feel like that's exactly what it is. They're telling the truth, but they're lying about who that truth is involving. And so they're trying to make it seem like it's you. And I just feel like there's a lot that's happening here. All right, source, what does pile number 2's boss secretly think about them? What does pile 2's boss secretly think about them? Okay, thank you. This is their only move. This is the only move that they have. Like, they don't got anything else that they can rely on. This is the only move they have. Yeah, they're very afraid that they're going to lose their position. They're going to lose face. They're going to lose their promotion or something. Maybe it's like you both are going up for the same promotion. Like, you're trying to get ahead of the situation and they're trying to get ahead of you. Okay, so let's come out this way. Yeah, in the reverse. They're afraid of starting over. Okay, thank you. Oh my goodness, hold on just a second. My elbow. Oh! It itches. It's just a weird place to itch, right? Because it feels like all numb when you're scratching it. And you're like, what the heck? Like, why does it itch? But your elbow, like your funny bone, right? Like, it's sensitive. This is a very sensitive situation for this person. Yeah, they think it's unfair. They think it's unfair that you've come as far as you have, or that you're given the opportunities that you've been given. This is somebody who doesn't think that you deserve what you have, or that you they don't feel like you deserve being in the company. They don't feel like you deserve to even have a spot or to vie for this position. Like, they think that they're the only ones that are capable of doing this, or they think that they're the only ones that are worthy of getting promoted, or that they're the only ones that are worthy of gaining momentum here. And so their fear is taking over. Yeah, oh my gosh, okay. This is somebody who's really immature too. Like, they're just very immature in the way that they talk about you and the way that they approach you. This is somebody who's trying to convince others. Oh, I just totally smacked my elbow talking about how sensitive it is. This might be a very sensitive topic for you as well. Like, just somebody, like, you have to go in. You like your job. I feel like you like your job, but I feel you don't like dealing with this person at all. And, you know, with the Six of Cups here, it's interesting because it's talking about an emotional trap. It is also my soulmate card. It's in the reverse. So this could have been somebody that at some point you were romantically interested in, or they're trying to tell everybody that you're romantically interested in them and that you're gonna, yeah, so this could go in line with what was said in pile 2. Okay, so you might be here from pile 2. And just really quickly, if you watched all 3 piles with me, leave a purple heart down below. That makes you a part of my Purple Heart Club. And you could say I made it as well. I know what that means. And I just want to say thank you to anybody who spends any amount of time with me. But pile 2 is using, like, this is somebody who's using their position to try to pressure somebody into a romantic connection. So this is somebody who could be saying that you tried to pressure them into a romantic connection, or that you may have gone to HR and said something about this person, and now they're telling everybody, like, I didn't do that. Pile 3 is the one that did that. They came on to me. They're the ones that tried to put that, you know, on me, and I don't understand why no one's believing me here. But it's like every time somebody talks to them, their story changes. Every time someone's dealing with them, their story changes. But you're very strong. You made a choice for yourself, and you come across as very stable and secure. And that's why people are seeing the truth of this person now, because this person is really trying to bite back. They're trying to bite back with everything that they have, but they have one move, right? It's like, if you show your power move at the beginning and that's the only move that you rely on the whole time, like, you're not playing a very good game, are you? Not that we deserve to be in a type of game like this, but that's just it. You know, when you come from a grounded place, like, you're always going to be given intuitive nudges on what's the right move for you, right? They're playing checkers, you're playing chess, right? They're playing handball and you're playing a very deep game of tennis. It's like, that's the thing. It's like, it just seems like whatever it is that's going on, they don't know the rules very well, or they're trying to bring different rules to the game. And you made a choice a long time ago that when there was somebody that was showing a lot of red flags or showing a lot of discrepancies, that you were going to use your discernment to handle the situation as needed. And I feel like in this situation, it's that you're looking to move ahead of this person. So if they're your manager, you're trying to get a position above this person. And you have the experience to back it up. But they're really trying to fight you on this. They're really trying to convince everybody that you don't have the experience to back it up. Or This could be you trying to get a management position alongside them so you don't have to deal with them anymore. And they're really trying to slander your name here. Very immature. This is somebody who's also being seen as very immature. So I feel like this isn't somebody that you're going to have to do much with moving forward. I do feel like they're going to be exposed. If not already, they're definitely in the process of becoming exposed for who they are. Like, people realize this person is lying. They realize that this person is creating drama. They're creating scenes. They're just being very, 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 very insecure. And I do feel like right now you're keeping your distance as best as you can from them. And that is a good thing. That's like prime real estate right there. Keep your distance from this person as best as you can. The more distance you keep, the less they know. And the less they know, the more they freak out. Okay, and so what they're secretly thinking right now is, I don't know how to get to pile number 3. I don't know how to get them to do what I want. I don't know how to force them into a corner. And so this is basically somebody who's just throwing every possible thing that they can at it, but it's already been done. It's already been said and done. Like, everybody realizes this. Everybody realizes that they're repeating cycles. They're interrupting the flow of work right now. They're in a period of creating conflict, right? And things are changing, and I feel like they're not going to move with the change, right? There's a shift that's happening here in the workplace, also a shift that's happening with you, but they're not going to come with that shift. Like, something's going to happen here. They're being very defensive. They're trying to use psychological battle in order to win, and it's not working. They need to be in control. They're losing control, which means that they're flailing. And when they're flailing, that's when they just go wilding out. Okay? And they're also, like, this is somebody who may, like, they may just all of a sudden get in your space. Like, they just enter into your space without your permission. And you might have to be like, excuse me, I'm in the middle of something. Can you please leave? Like, we don't have anything to talk about. I feel like you're being very cordial with this person because, of course, it's a professional setting. Like, you can't be just screaming at somebody at work, even if you want to slap them silly or something like that. No, I do feel like you're being very cordial with this person. But I do feel like this person is doing everything that they can think of to push your buttons. Like, they're like looking over your shoulder and watching you work over your shoulder, and you're feeling all weird and tingly, like, what the heck? And you look, and they're right in your face, and you're like, what the heck? Excuse you? What are you doing here? And they're like, oh, I'm just making sure you're doing your job. And you're like, you need to get out of my space. I was asked to do something by another manager, and this has nothing to do with you, so you need to leave. Right? That's what this feels like. This person's like invading your space, invading your bubble, trying to get personal information on you because they think if they can paint a bad enough picture about you that they're going to win. They want to be in control, and they have no control, and they know they have no control, but they're doing everything that they can to regain control here, and they are failing. They're failing. Let's find out what's going to happen with this situation, because I feel like that's going to serve you better than anything else right now. Source, what's going to happen with the situation for pile 3? What would you like them to know? What's going to happen with the situation for pile number 3? What do you want them to know about this situation, Source? Thank you. Yeah, so I don't take these in reverse, but it did come out in the reverse, the Mother of Cups. This is somebody who's emotionally unavailable. They're just very emotionally disconnected from the situation, and they're not, like, that's the thing. It's weird because it's like what they're saying about you, it's just, there's no information to back it up, right? Like, they're saying, oh, you're not experienced, but you brought in a resume with experience and reference with experience, right? That's what this feels like. So they're trying to tell everybody, oh, well, they lied about their references. They told me they lied about their references. And the people that are hearing these stories, they're like, really? Because we called those references. We have information to back up that they do know what they're talking about, and they're performing their job well. And they're like, no, they're not. So they're like trying to lie about your stats, or they're trying to lie about your job performance or something like that. but whoever it is that they're talking to, like, sees your job performance. Like, they see you doing it. Yeah, oh my gosh, the devil. Okay, let's see what this is. The Daughter of Pentacles. Okay, and on the bottom of the deck, the Father of Swords. You will overcome this situation, and it will happen in your favor. This could be, maybe you work with family. That's something that's coming through here too. But this is definitely someone who's very overbearing, and it's as if they believe that they have a right to know everybody's personal life, including yours. But the only reason that this person feels like they're owed that is so that they can use it as a weapon against you. And this is somebody who believes that their job is who they are. So if they lose face at their job, then they're losing identity. They're losing themselves. And the main thing here with the Daughter of Pentacles is just to be patient. Like, that's the main thing. Because you will overcome this. And you're going to overcome, like, this is the thing. You have the King of Swords here. This is somebody who is cold, calculating, strategic, calm, and verbally vicious. But not vicious in the sense of like cursing somebody or just saying things to say somebody. This is somebody who is honestly verbally vicious. Like, the truth that comes out is vicious. That's what it is. And so I feel like that's what they're saying here. It's like your patience is everything here, because there's going to be a moment where you're going to get an opportunity to stand up for yourself. And regardless of what this person thinks about you, like, that's the thing, like, source is just confirming what your intuition has already been telling you about this person, or even what you've heard through the grapevine about what this person has said about you. This is just that confirmation. So it's not so much about what they think about you as much as it is that source is reminding you that you're going to be given an opportunity soon to really set things straight with everybody. Not that people are questioning your value or your worth at the job. It's just that you're going to be somebody that helps to expose this person and their devious ways. And there's no going back. Like, there's no going back after that. Like, everybody's going to see it. Everybody's going to know exactly what this person's all about. No one's going to listen to them ever again. That is if they get to keep their job. Like, that's just what's going to happen here. It just really feels like everything that you've had to deal with when it came to this person is going to be shown to everybody. And I don't feel like you're the only person that's had to deal with this, but I do feel like for some reason this person has gone harder when it came to you, and that could be because you actually have so much experience in the work that you do. Like, they just never imagined that you would bring so much to your position. And so everyone else they were able to get one up on, because they actually were able to use the little bit that they learned as leverage. But they don't even have leverage against you, because you know things that they'll never know, because they don't actually take their job that seriously. Wow, this is wild. Some wild energies coming through today. All right, what else would you like to tell pile number 2? So, or wow, I've said your pile wrong all day. So some of you could definitely be here from some of the other piles. For pile 3, source. Thank you. Trust your intuition. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio energy. We have spirituality, emotion, intuition, and compassion. And stay in your state of compassion. You know, when it comes to this person, the best thing that you can do is ignore them and stay silent, but keep practicing your compassion with other people and being yourself with other people. Like, that's really important for you at this time. But it's okay to set very clear boundaries with this person, because they are going to test them at every chance they get. Like, that's who they are. That's what they're trying to win some sort of competition that they set up against you. And you're not seeing it like a competition. Don't start, right? It's not a competition. There is no comparison here at all. And just keep being you, because that's going to shine in the end. Cardinal, yeah. Instigation, bravery, and a pioneering spirit. This is the start of something new for you. That's what source is saying. Listen, listen. I keep hearing that. Listen. The signs and synchronicities will add up. The signs and synchronicities will guide you. Listen to the whispers. You know, that's for those of you that have clairaudience. You're going to know what that is for sure. Yeah, I do feel like you're very passionate about this, or this is in the field that you're passionate about. Like, you do like what you do. It's not like you hate it. I don't feel like you hate what you do. I felt that earlier too. It's just you don't like dealing with this person. You don't like dealing with them, which who can blame you? I mean, geez, that's like so wild. You go to work to earn a living. You don't go to work to try to defend yourself to somebody who has no right doing what they're doing, right? Like, they're just doing it because they're wilding out and they're crazy and they like chaos, you know. And I do feel like you're very passionate about what it is. You have a lot to offer, and I feel like this is Source just reminding you too to celebrate your knowledge on whatever this is that you do. Like, that's something that's very powerful. We don't give knowledge and wisdom enough credit, but it is something that's very powerful, and especially in a world that's full of people who aren't very knowledgeable, or who aren't very wise, or who lack even common sense, right? I remember someone told me once, common sense, it ain't so common. That's what they said. And I laughed and I laughed and I laughed the first time I heard that. But man, it hit me like a bat in the back of the head, because it's true, you know, like common sense, it's not so common. And it's like, it's so funny because you're like, people saying like, oh, it's just common sense. Yeah, it might be common sense, but because common sense isn't so common, how can it be common, right? Like, it's wild. It's wild. And he was referencing this. Okay, so I'll tell you the story that he was referencing. It was a couple things, but the one that really just had me is there was this lady. He used to work in the seafood counter, and this lady would always come and get the shrimp from the seafood counter. And one day they were out of what she kept calling the pink shrimp. I want the pink shrimp. I don't want the other shrimp. I need the pink shrimp. I like the pink shrimp. I don't like the other shrimp. The other shrimp is gross, but I need the pink shrimp. But you guys are all out of the pink shrimp, so I want some of the pink shrimp. And he was like, what are you talking about? She's like, you know, the pink shrimp that you have right here. It's always right here, and it's always this much per pound or whatever. And he's like, finally he realized, he's like, oh my gosh, she's calling, because the pink shrimp is prepped shrimp, right? It's just pre-cooked shrimp, because shrimp turns pink when it's cooked. And that's the thing. And he never corrected her. He goes, okay, I'll get you some of that pink shrimp. And he's like, it's going to come in about a half hour. So come back in a half hour. He never corrected her. Comes back in a half hour. And he and the guys were laughing so hard about it. He just went in the back, and in 5 minutes he cooked up some shrimp or whatever and brought it out, some of that pink shrimp. But I was like, why didn't you ever just correct her? And he's like, because sometimes you just can't. He's like, so, you know, like, I could have told her that's just cooked shrimp, but she would have never believed me. She would have never believed what I had to say, because she was so adamant that it was a different type of shrimp than the uncooked raw shrimp that we had. That's what she just really believed, that it was different. And I was like, okay, I guess. And that's what he was saying. He's like, common sense, it ain't common. And I was like, I never thought about it that way. I never thought about it. That's true though. You know, it's like sometimes it's like correcting people is it's just a waste of our breath, right? Especially when they're so set in their ways. And so I feel like that's just what it is here. Like, even if this is somebody that you've tried to correct at some point, it's just not even worth your time anymore, because it's just a waste of your breath. Like, they're just not ever going to believe you, because they have their already set opinion on who they are, who you are, who they are, and how this whole situation is going to play out. And it's not going to dawn on them the reality of the situation until it plays out completely 180 against what they think it's going to be. A damsel. Interesting. Understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself, and the shadow is waiting for a knight to provide for you in a seduction by romantic illusion. So this is pointing at that maybe this is somebody who approached you with the romance, right? With the Six of Cups here in the reverse. And they, you know, were mad because you said no, or they tried to use it as a means to corner you, and they expected you to just go with it. This is also expecting you to let them take control. Like, they just expect you to let them take control. Like, that's how they look at a knight. Like, you're just going to give them, you're going to be chivalrous and give them control over the situation. And that's just not going to work. And I feel like you understand the situation perfectly. Like, you're aware of what's unfolding for sure. Okay, they want one more. Whoa, okay, hold on just a second. It went flying off the table. Okay, so we had star power that flipped over. It says, when the spotlight finds you, respond with unwavering authenticity. Let your true self shine. Yeah, so definitely being authentic in this situation is helping you out so much. That's what I was saying. Like, I feel like people are backing you for sure. Dreams, insight. Your recent dreams are not mere illusions, but messages that guide your waking choices. Decipher dreams, guide reality. So I do feel like you're listening to your dreams. And with the black swan here especially, you could be coming from another pile. Okay, this is just a specific message for those of you coming from another pile. But I feel like that's the thing. Like, listen to your dreams. Trust the messages that they're giving you. I do feel like they're being very blatant with the messages that they're bringing in your dreams. Like, they're being very clear about what it is that they're saying. What else for pile 3 source? Okay, they want one more of these. Oh, thank you. Bottom of the deck, we have money matters. Money matters a lot right now. Watch your expenses, save up for the future. You need to be prepared for the unexpected. So don't overspend right now. And it's not to worry you about your financial situation. It's just a reminder, like, make sure that you're saving for the future, right? If you guys want a great money book, check out, oh my gosh, The Richest Man of Babylon. It's an old book. I totally recommend it. You don't even have to go and rent it. You can listen to it on YouTube for free. But he talks about how he invests in himself, and every time he gets paid, he pays himself 30%. No matter what, that's the very first thing he does with the money that he receives. That's an investment in himself, and then once that investment grows, he uses that to invest in other things, and when those investments give a return, he sticks with 30%. So no matter where his money's coming from, he always invests 30% in himself, and he turns into the richest man in Babylon, and he has this great financial advice. So definitely check that out if you guys are looking for just some more ideas on how to financially be sound. But if not, then that's okay. So we had venture. You make exciting work moves that could take you on outdoors or on a trip. You will need to climb steadily to reach your financial goals. So yeah, you're definitely going to be moving up. I do feel like you're going to be getting a promotion here, or you're going to be getting more responsibility as well as a raise to reflect those responsibilities. All right, and then we'll get a few of these too. The money comes from deck for pile 3 source. Whoa. Okay, right away, these 3 just popping out like that. On the bottom, we have laborer. Your hard work will be rewarded soon. Keep at it. Construction, maintenance, painting, or any kind of labor work. Don't be afraid of hard work. What lasts won't come easy. Yeah, that's what it says. That's such a weird way. It looks so weird. But yeah, so don't be afraid of hard work here. Don't be afraid to put your best foot forward every day. It is being seen by the people who matter, okay? So we're only seeing just a little bit. Even with this reading, we're only seeing a little bit of why this boss is acting this way, why this boss thinks this way. Like, there's not so much that's coming through here, and I feel like that's why a source didn't want to focus too much on what it was that they were thinking about you. They wanted you to focus on still taking steps towards your goals and letting yourself be who you are. The gambler, a willingness to follow intuition even when others doubt you, and the shadows, relying on luck rather than hard work. Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, you're listening to your intuition, you're trusting the insight that you're receiving, and this person, your boss, is relying on luck. And they've relied on luck for a long time, and maybe it's worked for them for a long time. Sometimes that happens. It happens until somebody comes around where it doesn't, like, they show the truth. They show the reality of the situation. I just feel like that's what you are. You're either a truth, like, you could be a truth seeker, but I feel like you're a truth reflector. Like, you reflect truths back to people. You reflect truths of dark situations back to people as well. Judge. Yeah, the judge, the jury, and the executioner. Balancing justice and compassion. managing the fair distribution of power. And the shadow is offering only destructive criticism, misusing business, legal, or criminal authority. Yeah, so there's definitely someone here. They're doing things that are definitely questionable when it comes to you. And I feel like that's just because they feel like they're in some sort of competition. Self-made. It's their self-made competition. They could have just left you alone and gone about happy doing bare minimums here. But no, they had to make it a competition with you. And that just really put them in the spotlight in a awkward way. They're a bully. Oh my gosh, they're a bully. Highlights your tendency to intimidate others, helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. So whether you want to be or not, you're very intimidating to this person. Like, they don't like that, but they are trying to bully you into submission. And that's what's happening here. Conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. And that's what they're doing. They're definitely a bully. They're trying to gain control, right? And 8th house talks about intimidation, but it comes from self-empowerment, right? Flexibility. Find strength in the tentacles of the intangible, where softness overcomes rigidity. Adapt to change and exhibit flexibility. Yeah, so staying flexible with yourself, with your position, you know, not with this person though. Don't stay flexible with this person. Maintain boundaries with this person. Power play. Oh my gosh, look at this. Covertly manipulating the situation behind the scenes, guiding the course of events. Stay calm, patience. That's the thing. This person is trying to play behind the scenes. They think that they're playing chess, but they're really playing checkers. They have exposed themselves to too many people. There's no going back now. And I feel like that's because you were there. And while they're taking it out on you, you never deserved this. Like, this is not something you deserved, but you are the reason that they're getting exposed. And so there's some power behind that as well, right? Like, it's your authenticity that drives them to expose themselves. So just keep being you. Long term, an opportunity could turn into a long-term career move, or you will be asked to commit to a position in exchange for more money. I kept saying that. The candle just went out. That this is going to be like a management position or a higher position than what you're given, a promotion, a raise. There's definitely something about your position that's shifting for the better, unfolding. Access to greater prosperity is opening up for you slowly. You're growing as you learn more and keep expanding. So it isn't something that's going to happen like overnight, right? This isn't something that's going to happen like right away. That's why patience is key here for you, okay? Yeah, you're very passionate about what you do because it's your life purpose. You have new ideas and inspirations that will guide you to your divine calling. What is meant for you will not leave you as long as you continue to push forward. Ask for what you need and things will align for you to carry out your vision. So don't be afraid to ask your guides and source and your angels, whoever it is you pray to, your ancestors. Don't be afraid to ask them for assistance here because they're on standby for you for sure. Shift. Didn't I say there's a shift that's happening? Taking your career in a totally different direction. Have the courage to change course, continue to grow, change and learn. You reach the end of a route where you cannot continue traveling. Yeah, so this is the end right now. Something is about to shift for you in regards to this person, this boss that you have that is quite the bully. Leadership. And I feel like you're about to move up. You're stepping into a role of leader, or as a leader. You're ready. Your career will improve once you accept and step into your power. You're following the crowd in fear of putting yourself out there. So I do feel like that was a past energy, but I do feel like this situation has caused you to be more authentic to yourself. And it's also allowed you to step up into a more powerful position and a powerful state of being. And that's helping you be scrutinized in a way for a leadership position. In fact, you, like I said earlier, it feels like you could be replacing this person. It just hasn't played out that way yet. Or you're going to be moved into a completely different department, or you're getting a position above this person, okay? So you are definitely seen for your skills, your knowledge, your expertise, and your experience. So trust that and keep putting forth your best foot. Like, it is being seen by people who matter, okay? So let's take a look at your card. I'm going to read this from the book. We're going to see what it says. Yeah, turtle. Slow and steady wins the race. There's no need to rush this. And it could be frustrating because you might want to rush it because you are tired of dealing with this. And you deserve that, right? You deserve a break from this person for sure. But this is something that's slowly unwinding and it's slowly unfolding. But that's because it's like there has to be something, there's no point of return, right? That's what it feels like. So you're helping to expose this person where there's no point of return. That's it. They've gone beyond. And once they've gone beyond that line, that's it. Like things are going to start really happening for you. We have ancient soul, grounded, trusting, at home in the self, which is why the more authentic you are, the more powerful you feel. It says, it is wonderful to be in the presence of a turtle personality. Like the beaver, the turtle has a strong relationship with the earth and water elements simultaneously. This helps to ground and connect them to the deeper truths of life, no matter where their travels lead them. Turtle energy is behind all great writers and storytellers as they collect life experiences under their shell for later use. The most potent turtle energy helps us close all the other books and begin to tell our own true tale. When in balance, you're peaceful, adventurous, and productive. When out of balance, you slow down to a halt, and to bring into balance is take an adventure. So maybe it's time for you to take some time off. This is just a suggestion, right? Nothing set in stone here. But you might have been called to taking a little vacation, maybe a staycation or a little vacation just out of town or whatever for yourself. And I feel like this is that confirmation, but that might also be something to consider just to give you a reset from this person and this energy so that you can come back re-empowered in yourself as well, okay? Because this is difficult energy to deal with, and I'm so sorry you have to deal with somebody like this, but I do feel like that shift is coming very, very quickly. It's definitely closer than you might imagine, and even if it seems slow, it's going to be powerful, and it's going to benefit you in the long run, okay? So this is what I see here for you today, Pile 3. If you felt like this was your reading, leave a little turtle emoji down below and say it's okay for me to be adventurous, take time to myself to focus on self-care, as well as taking slow, steady steps to my desired outcome and goals. I will, in all capital letters, I will make it. And if it resonated with you, it'd mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you will find everything you need in the description box. So I'd like to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this difficult but very powerful reading today. Remember, you matter and you are enough as you are right now, Pile 3. I appreciate you, and you deserve to celebrate yourself and how far you've come, okay? Until next time, stay human. Bye.